So embroidery hoop art, it seems to be everywhere. It's on all platforms, including here on YouTube. It just seems like everybody's making something out of old embroidery hoops. In fact, one of my friends, Tracy, from the sewing channel, made a scrap project using an embroidery hoop, so you should check that out. Anyway, this inspired me to make some of my own, and it just so happens, believe it or not, that at a yard sale this past weekend, I found a whole basket of embroidery hoops, and they're pretty old and pretty dingy, but I loved them and they were perfect for the project that I was going to make. Before we get started with the tutorial, my name is Chris O'Neill from Sew the Distance. Thank you so much for joining me. So I have a bazillion, well not quite, but a lot of old antique quilt blocks. I can't really put them into quilts because they have a lot of frayed edges or odd sizes, and it would just be a whole lot more work to get them into quilts. I usually make projects with them, and I made a few. One of my very first videos, in fact, was a pincushion using some of these old blocks, and I have a few other tutorials coming up using them. Anyway, I decided that I was going to use these embroidery hoops with the antique blocks. But there's just a few things I want to talk about before we get started on the tutorial. You can use any block. It doesn't have to be an antique quilt block. It just so happens that's what I'm doing this project on. I will show you other examples that are not antique blocks if you don't have any. Also, be careful using embroidery hoops. They will stain fabric. So if it's something that you want to, say, you know, change out for the holidays or something like that, you need to be mindful that there could be some marks on your fabric or whatever it is that you put in them. And lastly, I did put timestamps on this video so you can jump around if you want to and skip some of the parts that you're not interested in. Let's get started on this tutorial. So as you can see, I have a ton of antique blocks that I've collected over the years, and I like to make projects with them. It's hard to put things, especially with the frayed edges, together. This is kind of my way of saving them, is to make different projects with them and, I don't know, give them a new life. So I picked one that I'm going to work with today, which is this one here. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to make one of these cute little frames with it. But first I want to show you a couple examples. So I'm going to set this aside. Here's the first one that I made. You can see that I quilted it just very simply with the same color. I wasn't real worried about like creases like this one here that's in the actual block. I just went with it. I also used matching thread to quilt the petals. I changed to yellow to quilt the middle, and I really love the way it turned out. Like I said, this is the first one I did. I wasn't sure how to finish the back. You can see that I used hot glue to just seal these edges. It's not probably the best way, but hey, it works and it'll look cute on my wall. The next one I did was an elongated block. I have a bunch of these, and I thought this was really cute. I didn't finish this one. I just pinned it in the back for this demo, so I just want to take it out and show you exactly what I did here. So I'll take the pins out. Because this didn't completely fit on a frame, I just took a piece of white fabric that I had and I raw edged, didn't even turn them under, the edges of this, and then I quilted around it, and I used a contrasting thread in this one. And I thought with this oblong shape that it really looked cute. And I left the extras because I'm going to try a few different methods of securing it in the back, and one of them is gathering it, and I'll show you an example of that in a minute here. So this one is really unique because it doesn't have the thing at the top like this one that you can tighten it or loosen it. It's just an old hoop. And I just used a block that I made out of scraps, and you can see on the back all I did was a running stitch to attach it and to keep it secure. So I really like this one too, and what's nice is I can change them out. And this is using new fabrics, so I didn't use antique fabrics with this, and it still turned out really cute. Here's another one that I made using fabric that I had in my stash, and I added a few little buttons. On the back I just cut a piece of felt, not really well, and I hot glued it to the back to cover up those edges. I just did some minimal quilting around the little sewing machine. I like the way these buttons look. They look like flowers. And I used yellow embroidery floss in the middle for the center of the flowers. And then lastly, I had an apron and I was playing with this. It's just a piece of apron that had a pocket. I thought this would be really cute. And I've seen this before where they make pockets and stick things in them even for organization methods. But how cute is it to put like buttons or a button card in there, or you know, there's some other ones, or you could put like a seam ripper or whatever to have right by your machine on the wall if you wanted to. But if you don't have a pocket like I had, you can always make one, and I'll show you that in a bit on how I would do that. But let's get started on this antique block. And again, I want to put it in here, and it's going to be similar to this one. What I want to first do is quilt it. I'm going to just take a piece or 2 of batting. I'm actually going to use 2 pieces of scrap batting because I want it to be really puffy. And I roughly cut this so it would fit. You can see it's not perfect, but that's all going to be trimmed away anyway when we make this project. And then I just picked a backing, and I'm going to put this right sides down and make my quilt sandwich. Now I'm not going to pin or press or anything this because it's small enough that I can take it right to my machine. I'm going to use thread that matches or coordinates with this, and I'm going to start in the middle and quilting. Now you can see again, there's a lot of puckers in this, and I'm just leaving them. I already sewed the middle, I didn't hit record, so I'm going to show you how I do the purple on the outside here. And I changed my thread from yellow to purple, just using my regular foot. I'm not using a walking foot, but you can use a walking foot if you want. You can also free motion quilt this. And I'm going to just start anywhere. I'm going to start right here. My machine has a knotting feature, so I'm going to put a knot in to secure that. If yours doesn't, you can just leave some tails and hand stitch them through. And then I'm going to move it up to a stitch length of 3.1 and start sewing. And I'm just going to carefully and slowly sew this. I will speed up the video so it's not boring watching me do this, but you can see I'm just turning and sewing. All right, now I'm going to go in and do around here, and then I'm going to do these and just keep doing the same thing that I'm doing, and I'll show you the end product. Okay, so here it is, all quilted. And as I was quilting this, I was thinking, you know, maybe I will add some buttons. So I have an extensive button collection, as you know. So I'm going to grab my yellow buttons and see if we can find something that will spruce this up. Let's see. I think I'm going to go with this. I like the way that looks. Of course, I keep changing my mind. This one's neat too. No, I think I'm going to go with this. If I wanted to, I could add some more, but I think this will be really cute. So I think I'm going to use orange embroidery floss to sew these on, and I will meet you back here when I do that. Okay, so the buttons are sewn on, and the back is very messy, but we're going to, that doesn't matter, right? You're not going to see that when we have it all together. And I got inspired to add some ribbon or some antique lace or something. This was totally unplanned for this video, by the way. The buttons were unplanned and adding this. So I'm totally going rogue here with my project. But I was thinking I have some like old antique rickrack that might be neat over here. I have a whole bin, see, of stuff. And I have like this flower ribbon. I have this green ribbon that would kind of look cool. Ooh, this is pretty. I have this antique ribbon, and I get this stuff at yard sales and estate sales and stuff like that. That doesn't really go with this, so I think I'm skipping that. This is kind of nice. I like that. It's a little bright for it. Ooh, I think I found it. Oh my gosh, look at that. I love that. That looks really pretty now. Oh, I really like this one. Okay, I think I'm gonna sew this one on. Let's see. Open it up. Oh, that's kind of nice. I kind of like that. What do you think? I think that looks good. You can go across the middle. I can go across the side. Remember, this is the part that's gonna be in the hoop. I'm gonna have some fun, and I think I'm gonna go with this. So I'm gonna go sew this down. I don't know, randomly, maybe like that. I'm going to cut a piece here, and I'm just going to sew it down with some neutral thread, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so as I was sewing, I remembered that I had a piece of fabric measuring tape that would look really great on this, so I added that, and you could just keep going crazy. I could add some more buttons, I could do whatever, but I want to get this video done, so I'm not going to do any of that, and I want to show you how we're going to finish it too. All right, so here's my cute little collage. Isn't that adorable? I love it. So I'm going to take this bottom hoop here, okay, and I'm going to place it underneath. And this takes a little finagling because you want to get it centered. And then you want to loosen this, the whatever this is called, the hinge, the top, and place it over it. And I want my top to be here, but I guess it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to push that on and make sure I like the placement and snap it into place. And I don't like the placement. See how there's more space down here than there is up here? I'm going to remove it and adjust. So I'm going to put it a little bit up. Like I said, this will take a little bit because you want to get it where you want it. And of course my buttons are kind of on the edge there. And I'm just going to push it on. It's thick. So I have that hinge opened almost all the way. All right. All right, so if I can envision it without all this, do I like it? And I do. Although, you know what? I might make the hinge at the different spot. I think there's something on there. I think I like this a little better because this is going to be my top. This is where I'm going to hang it. All right. All right, I really like that. I like the way that looks. I think it's really cute. So I'm going to push this in all the way. And then what I'm going to do is tighten this guy up as much as I can. And that is pretty good. All right. So the next step that I'm going to try with this one, and again, I tried different things with different pieces, but I don't particularly care for the back being covered like that. I kind of think that part of the charm is seeing the other side, even though it's messy. It's kind of cute because it looks like it's handmade. It's also going to give me a better opportunity for signing this and putting some notes maybe on the back with it. So what I'm going to do now, and this is the scary part, is I'm going to cut around this. Here we go. All right, so I loosely cut around it. Now I'm going to go fine tune it and get it nice and close to that frame or embroidery hoop. All right, so I'm just making sure you can't see any of the edges from the front and just trimming, trimming, trimming. All right, so what I'm going to do next is just take some fabric fuse and put around this edge. I'm not going to use hot glue because it got too messy and too thick. But before I do that, let's clear this up. I do want to show you quickly how you can make a pocket. So if you wanted to make a little pocket out of fabric that you can buy now, I found this cute little owl print. So what you can do is pick an owl here. I like this guy, this orange guy. Put him in, and then I just took a strip of fabric and folded it in half. So you can see it's just a strip of scrap, folded it in half, and I'm going to lay it right on there. And then I'm going to just take my ring and put it on top. Actually, we want a little bit more of a pocket. Oh, it looks like the owl is coming out of the pocket. How cute is that? How cute. So you could decorate maybe a baby's nursery or anything with it. You wouldn't have to quilt it, and you just use the same method. And you can cinch it in the back if you want to, so you can change it out. And it's really cute. You can put whatever in it. You can do just about anything with these and really have some fun decorating. So I'm just going to take my fabric fuse and just put it around the edge. Just a little bit of a bead to hold everything into place. Just like that. And that way it won't fray or go anywhere. And I'll just let this dry before I hang it. And then this will be ready to go. This does take a little bit of time to dry. I think these are going to be a great addition to my sewing space. They're so cute and whimsical and just make me smile, and that's what it's all about. I will definitely be on the lookout for more embroidery hoops. Of course, I could buy new, but I don't know. I like the chase and the find of these old things too. I also think with the old blocks, it kind of, I don't know, it goes well together, right? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you take some time to sew, and I will see you soon. Bye.